Hi guys, Ray here from City Fan TV. Hope you guys are doing very well. It's time for a live stream. I don't think I've done one for a few days, a live stream, but it's time for a little catch up on what's been going on at Manchester City over the last week or so, last few days. We're going to be talking about, let's try and remember it all, James Trafford, Kieran Slicker, another goalkeeper. We're going to be talking about Shea Charles, Ethan. I'm going to get this wrong now. I'm going to get the name. We'll talk about Sergio Gomez. I'm just trying to remember this kid's name. We're going to talk about Ethan Nwaneri. Have I got that right? And some news about him, if I get that. Ethan Nwaneri. And we're going to talk about Big Willy Cabarello. Big Willy, talk about him. And we're going to talk about the Potty Arsenal fans. The Arsenal fans who've lost it. They've lost their rag a little bit, or they've lost the rag a little bit, and they've also gone a little bit doolally. Is that an acceptable word these days? They've gone a little bit doolally because they think that by buying 2 or 3 players, by buying Declan Rice, and by buying a couple of other players, Timber, and they think suddenly they're going to be everything. I think they might be disappointed about that, but we'll come to that in a bit. Could have a quick slug of drink, been slogging it out today with the kid just been cooking for him. And just wolfed down me pasta and broccoli and mushrooms and some tuna and some chili. That was very nice indeed. But yeah, I have hot work. Right. Hopefully, so you guys will come on. You can ask any questions. The show basically will last as long as you guys pumping out interesting questions to me, and I'll take pretty much anything you throw at me, and I'll also talk about the subject matter that we're going to talk about. Excuse me. So let's start off with James Trafford. Now, there's a video out on that already today. When I chatted with Bernard Deneen about the young kid James Trafford. I think the transfer's gone through now. Just reading something from Peter Spencer, let's have a look. Peter Spencer used to be the sports editor at the Manchester Evening News, and his tweet was, huge mistake City letting Trafford go. Sad. And then he talks about United. I'm not bothered about that. The thing is, okay, that City, the facts are facts. The information that seems to be out there that we're working on is that he's going to Burnley for between 17 and 19 million pounds, when obviously that's caused a bit of consternation, a bit of uproar amongst fans of a red persuasion, because they say, once again, because they've got nothing else to shout about, because these teams can't compete with us on the pitch. I've said it many times. They focus on things off the pitch, and they say selling James Trafford for between 17 and 19 million quid for a kid who's 20 years old, not even played in the Premier League. He's actually not even played in the Championship. He's been playing in League One. So 17 to 19 million pounds, they say that's outrageous. They say it's far too much. They think because Vincent Kompany is Burnley's manager, used to be at City, he's happily spending over the odds to help City balance the books for FFP purposes. Nothing can be further from the truth. Burnley are doing what they think is good for Burnley, not for Manchester City. And don't worry, guys. Don't worry, Arsenal fans. Don't worry, Liverpool fans. Don't worry, Manchester United fans. Don't worry, anybody. City are fine for FFP. We don't have to cut the books. We've done so well with the sales that we did last year, selling Sterling, selling Gabriel Jesus, selling Olex Zinchenko for somewhere in the region of 125 million pounds. And if you watch that video I did a day or two ago about the academy, we got about 60 million quid in from the academy. That's best part of 200 million pounds. That's cash, you know, in various guises. Because even if people are playing on the never paying over say a 3-year period in installments, you can actually sell that debt on to a debt financing company. So don't worry about that. So we've got a ton of money coming in, and for FFP purposes, most of that is profit. Any issues you might think we've got, 200 million, it's easily sorted out. This summer is going to be brilliant because obviously all the money we made last year and the players we're selling in James Trafford, Shea Charles, those two, for about 28 to 30 million pounds for the pair of them together. Any issues with FFP, that gets sorted there. If we sell, for argument's sake, we sell Bernardo Silva for 50 or 60 million quid, most of that's going to be profit, 40 to 45 million quid, 50 million, whatever. FFP should be, for City, the way our conveyor belt of talent is going through, should be a thing of the past. We are sorted. We're doing so well. Even the new FFP regulations, we will hammer them into the ground. Anyway, enough of that. So all these fan bases are having a go because they say this kid is not worth 17 to 19 million quid and we're fiddling it somehow. Let me tell you something. The kid is awesome. He's mustard, okay? And you buy on potential as well. Now, apparently he's thought of very, very highly at City. And when other people see him play, good judges, shrewd judges are saying this guy could go all the way. Now, as Bernard said in the video we did earlier today, you just don't know what's going to happen. A lot of it's up in here. And he could fall by the wayside. He might have a bad spell. That might be the end of him. He might never recover from that. It is possible never to recover at a top level. He might get an injury, or he just might not develop into the player that people think he's going to be. It might be that he doesn't fulfill his potential. His potential is to go all the way. Now, you get a lot of kids coming into academies, and most of them will not make it to the first team. So, again, you get a lot of big moves for young kids. Look at Joao Felix. For me, he cost an absolute bundle. He's not made it. He's got time. He's got bags of potential. He looks exciting, but Chelsea didn't want him. They had that loan and he didn't make it at Chelsea. Football's littered with players who've never made it, but you're paying big money on the potential that he will make it. So James Trafford at 17 to 19 million quid is very, very expensive. City will have a buyback clause, a sell-on clause. But it's who it is. You're paying big money for a guy who, let's not forget, he's just come out of the under 21 Euros where he kept 6 clean sheets. It's not bad. Played 45 league games for Bolton last season. I believe he kept 26 clean sheets. 26 clean sheets in 45 games. That's more than 50%. Best part of 60%. I've got my calculator. Have I got my calculator? Will I do the numbers? Let's see if this calculator works. Yeah, so 26 clean sheets out of 45 games. 58%. 58% clean sheets. It's phenomenal. My 6% weren't bad. It's phenomenal record. Bolton let in something like, I think, 37 goals, 35 goals last season in the league. Fantastic. To let fewer than 1 goal per game in, I think that's awesome. Bolton finished 5th. Ipswich, who finished 2nd, got 98 points. Automatic promotion. They conceded 1 less goal than Bolton. So Bolton did very well. Slicker did very well. He's apparently very good with his feet. We saw it in the under 21 Euros final last night. He made that 97th minute save with his legs from the penalty. The rebound, he was up, saved the rebound as well. And he was undoubtedly the hero of that final as England won. First trophy at that level, I think, for 39 years. Fantastic performance from the boys. We had a few City players there. Taylor Harwood-bellis, who's lifted the trophy. I think he was on loan at Burnley last season. We've had a few players there, and we've had a few players who could have played, who were eligible but weren't with the team. So City done not too bad at all. So James Trafford, 70 to 90 million quid. It seems like a lot of money, but the guy's got potential, and Burnley are paying for that potential. And if the kid goes all the way, City can buy him back with that buyback clause. And if like what's happening with Romeo Lavia at Southampton, who we sold to Southampton for about 10.5 million quid. We got, I think, 20% selling clause with him. If he gets sold for 40 million, we get an extra 8 million quid. Look at Jadon Sancho when we sold him to Borussia Dortmund, 10 million quid. We had a 15% sell-on clause. We made another almost 10 million quid when he was sold from Borussia Dortmund to Man United for over 70 million quid. And what's happened to him? So, it's that City Academy is producing wonderful talent. Some of it's going to make it into the first team, like we've seen with Phil Foden. Like, hopefully, we'll see with Cole Palmer. He's on the fringes. McAtee might come back after a good loan spell at Sheffield United. So, this player's coming through. Rico Lewis has made it. So, it's so much. As I said it before, conveyor belt of talent. Spencer, United fans are balling mad over our academy and sales. Absolutely, mate. Hope you're doing very well. Absolutely. Onana, Inter got him on a free last season. Great business if they're selling for over 50 million euros to the Clowns. Absolutely. But United have got rid of David De Gea, which is a shame for us City fans, because I think he let in 70 goals in 20-odd games against City, which is up 2.5, 3 a game. Ridiculous. We wanted him to stay. But that's James Trafford. Fantastic business for City. Next, Shea Charles. Now, Shea Charles, you've probably not heard of. Most of you have not heard of Shea Charles. He's been sold to Southampton. I think he had one sub appearance last season. Well, let's see if I can pull that up, because I don't look at these records. Bernard asked me earlier on today, have you got stats for players? I said, I don't do stats. I go on feelings, not just stats. Now I'm just trying to see. Shea Charles is on Wikipedia. He, according to this, there you go, one appearance for Manchester City in the Premier League. I suspect that was a sub. Let's have a look. On 22nd of February 2023, Charles was named as a substitute for City's UEFA Champions League last 16 tie against RB Leipzig. I remember that. And on the 28th of May, Charles made his Premier League debut, coming on a substitute in the 63rd minute in the last game of the season against Brentford, which City obviously lost 1-0. So he did get some minutes on the pitch. 6'2", 1m89, midfielder. He's already played for Northern Ireland. He's got 8 appearances for Northern Ireland. And he's still only 19 years old. Now, obviously, coming through at City, it's very, very difficult. Look at the players, all the midfielders ahead of him, okay? Forget about what exact position he plays, but you've got Gundogan, you've got Bernardo Silva, you've got KDB, you've got Phil Foden, you've got Rodri, Calvin Phillips, you've got Stonesy playing in midfield, we've had, I think, Rico Lewis playing in midfield. We've had Gundogan playing in midfield. We've got 9 or 10 midfielders. We've got Peroni waiting for his chance. So we've got a ton of midfielders. So it's very difficult for the kids to get a chance. And obviously, some of them have to leave. Now, we're selling him to Southampton, a well-trodden path. We sold them Angus Gunn in the past. We sold them Gavin Bazunu. We sold them Samuel Edozie, Juan Larios. Juan Larios was about 6 million, I think. Edozie was about 10. Bazunu was about 12, and Gunn was between 13 and 15 million quid. He didn't make it. Angus Gunn is moved on to Norwich now. But it's a good, well-trodden path, and 10 million quid does seem like a lot of money. But once again, you're paying for potential. You're paying for a kid who's come through the City system and he plays in the City way. So that's a benefit. That's a big bonus. He's already had 8 appearances for the full Northern Ireland international team. So he's got to have something about him, but he's not. It's very difficult to break through at City. Any kid that breaks through at City has to be exceptional. The ones that don't make it are still very, very good. And some of them might make it elsewhere. We see, as I said, with Romeo Lavia. He wasn't going to make it through. He's not going to push Rodri to the side and Gundogan to the side. So he had to move. And look what's happened to him. He's done really, really well. Spencer the Mark says, get rid of De Gea. Yeah, it's a lot of money that they're paying and a lot of money that they're wasting. But, it's a shame for us. United save that. They'll pay Rashford. They'll pay the next guy a ton of money as well. So it's where football is these days. So another kid that's gone. Okay. So Shea Charles, we said, was about 10 million kid. Now, another one that you might have heard of is Kieran Slicker. I saw some emotional comments from Kieran Slicker, who's joined Ipswich Town. Now, Kieran Slicker was born in Oldham, so local lad. He's been at City all his senior career, basically. He's had a bit of loan. But his youth career was at City. He's only 20 years old. He'll be 21 in September. But as a goalkeeper, you're not getting past Edison. We got on Stefano Moreno there. Trafford, who's really, really good, couldn't get in. We've got, Trafford is never going to be a third keeper behind those guys. That's why Scott Carson's the third keeper. And Kieran Slicker was going to go down the same route. Now, his loan spells don't actually, I'm looking on Wikipedia, don't give me much information. But so he's at City, he's not made any appearances. Made his debut for the under-21s in the EFL Trophy against Lincoln in November 2020. He was a sub in the first team in the 6-3 win over Leipzig in the Champions League. That was in November 2021. He's been in a sub 5 times, but I don't think he ever got on the pitch. He signed for League 2 side Rochdale on loan. He made his debut for Rochdale in the win against Burton Albion in the EFL Cup. But City recalled him in January. He made 3 appearances for Rochdale, 2 in the EFL Cup, 1 in the EFL Trophy. I don't know the reason for that. Maybe he wasn't playing enough. And what's the point? In half a season, if you play 3 times, what is the point? So, you're better off being back at your home club and learning from the best, watching what Edison's doing, watching what Sergio Moreno's doing, and, playing in training with those guys. So in July 2023, he signed for Ipswich Town on a 3-year contract. Now, the thing is, we don't know. I mean, it's not a big issue. We don't know what the numbers are. It's said to be an undisclosed fee. And normally with Trafford, there's rumours, there's numbers out there, 17 to 90 million pounds, as journalists tell us. With Shea Charles, there's a number out there. But with Kieran Slicker, there's no numbers. Maybe in the coming days, we'll hear or get wind of actual numbers for him. But as at the time of speaking, I've not seen anything at all to give us an idea what Kieran Slicker has gone for. Okay, moving on. Ethan Nwaneri. Okay, I'll get this right because you don't pronounce the end. Ethan Nwaneri. I can't say. Ethan Nwaneri. Okay. Ethan, to his mates. Apologies for my probably brutalizing his surname. Nwaneri. So now he's a kid, actually. City were apparently interested in Ethan Nwaneri. Okay. He was playing at, he was going to stay there at Arsenal. Okay. Let's look at him briefly because there's not a lot to say. He's a kid, 16 years old. Okay. He plays in midfield for Arsenal. Now, he seems to be a precocious talent. A lot of people are interested in him. He made his Premier League debut in September 2022 against Brentford. He became the youngest ever Arsenal player and the youngest player to appear in the top flight of English football. I think James Milner held that record once. Now, look, he's a Nigerian descent. Not that it matters. I think he's going to end up playing for England. He's played within England under-16s and the under-17s. He's got plenty of goals for under-17s, 8 goals in 17 games, which is fantastic. So he joined Arsenal when he was 9. Okay, when he was 14, he was already playing in their under-18 side. But problem is, I don't know obviously too much about him. Apparently, City were interested in him, but he's going to stay at Arsenal. Okay. Now, he played in the under-21s. He scored the win in the opening match against Croatia. And so was somebody that apparently City were interested in him, but that's I think that's from what I'm reading, it is dead in the water. Is Borges ready for the step up to the season? Will be loaned out? I hope he's not loaned out. It's a difficult situation now because Borges is going to look at what happened to other players. Sancho forced his way out. Rabbi Matondo couldn't get anywhere. He went off to Germany. Okay. We've seen Romeo Lavia has to leave to get first team football to get where he is right now. So McAtee has to get loaned out to get a good level of football. Tommy Doyle, Harwood-bellis. the list is almost endless. But I feel that Borges, I think he's probably torn. You're torn between thinking that you've got to go down the same route as these other players. Okay, you've got to go down the same route as these other players. With Carlos Borges, may think he has to do the same because he must be gunning. He must be desperate to be playing first team football for Man City. One of the things about him that I've said it in previous videos about the kids in the academy. Okay, now he's been at City a fair while. He joined in 2015. He's only 19, so he's been here for 8 years. That's a long time, but he's not originally a City fan. He's from Portugal. He started at Sporting, okay? Sporting Lisbon. Now, the thing with him is, I said this before with a lot of other players, if you're a City fan, if you've grown up locally as a City fan, you're more likely to stick it out and do, I won't say what you're told, do what you're advised. I think for this kid, he should stay the next season and he should be training with the first team. Now, he might not get many opportunities. He might get lucky. You get lucky. I mean, we're very well stocked in the forwards department. And if you think we've got Haaland and Julian Alvarez, okay, and then we've got the wingers in Ford can play winger or false nine, Mahrez and Grealish. Fair few options. But I think Borges should stick it out. Cole Palmer as well. I think it should stick it out for one season. He might develop very quickly somewhere else, but he's only 19. I think stick it out for one season, see what happens. There will be opportunities. There'll be opportunities in the Carabao Cup. Definitely opportunities in the Carabao Cup. And I think he can still play some games in the EDS, some in things like the Carabao Cup. I think stick it out for one season. Learn under Pep. Learn under the coaches. Watch Haaland play. Watch Julian Alvarez play. Okay? He's 3 years younger than those guys. Watch them play. Learn from them. And then decide what your situation is next summer. Okay? That's how I'm going to look at it. He's a cracking kid. But I think he might want to force either a loan or a permanent move away from City to get that first team football, because I think he wants the attention. He wants to have the spotlight on him. He's not going to get that in the EDS. I think he's outgrown the EDS, so he needs to step up. But I still also think he needs to develop more. Now, I could either do that on loan somewhere else or in and around the first team. And I think if he goes and plays in and around the first team, like Cole Palmer, like Rico Lewis, like Foden before them, that gives him the best chance possible to make it at City. Spencer Mark says, City have created a monster but continue to win at youth level. We are blessed. Absolutely won everything, didn't we, at youth level? I don't know if we got number 2 yet, Spencer Mark. We keep losing them. Well, that's just testament to the quality of coaches that we have at Manchester City. Okay, next. We've done that. So let's talk about Big Willy Caballero. Obviously a hero in the Carabao Cup. I can't remember who was against now. But remember when Yaya scored the winning goal? But Big Willy Caballero, I think he saved 3 penalties. It was against Liverpool. He saved 3 penalties. And Yaya went like this, everybody follow me because, hey, he scored the winning penalty. He should be the hero. That was in his mind. The hero of that game was a fellow who saved the penalties, and that was Big Willy Caballero. And so all the rest of the players mobbed Big Willy. They chased him around the pitch and jumped on him. And Yaya was, basically on his Todd. So Big Willy Caballero, he's joining Leicester as the number 2 as assistant manager to Enzo, the ex-City coach. So it's Enzo Maresca. That's the fella's name, if I remember correctly. Is that the fella who's at City's number 2? Enzo Maresca. So Big Willy Caballero's joined him at Leicester City. So good luck to the pair of them. Hey, Buxton, how you doing, buddy? We will need to shift Cancelo Laporte and with maybe a few out on loan again. Yeah. I mean, I don't think Cancelo's got a future at City, so get rid. Laporte, you know, he can't be happy playing 12 league games for City, starting only 11. Well down the pecking order. So I can see him going. As soon as Guardiola arrives, I think Laporte is gone. Cancelo's gone. Look, we might have to take, not losses on them, but we might have to sell them for below what we think they're worth. But we can get 60, 70 million quid out of those two. I ain't bothered. I'll tell you why I'm not bothered. If we get rid of that, we've already made 30 million quid from the academy. So we've made £100 million profit, roughly, I reckon, this year, if those two guys leave for reasonable numbers. And that's all we need. We don't need more than that. We did so well last season, in obviously winning the treble, getting all the prize money, the TV money and everything else. I'm not concerned about the finances at all. I think they're very, very healthy. So, but yeah, if players don't want to be here, get them moved on. So Carlos Borges, let's see what happens to that kid. Who's left on this video? So we talked about James Trafford, we talked about Shea Charles, Kieran Slicker, Ethan Nwaneri, and big Willy Cabarello. And we'll talk about Sergio Gomez. Sergio Gomez. Now, who would have thought that he'd have the tournament that he did have? I know he's a little bit unhappy with Cole Palmer. You see Cole Palmer, he's apologized to him, who cares? But anyway, Sergio Gomez, he's 22 years old. He'll be 23 in September. He's born in Barcelona. And as you'd expect, he started his, he did some of his career in Barcelona. Let's go through some of it. So I'm not going to get all this right. It's youth career in Trajena. Then he went to Badalona, Espanyol, another team from Barcelona, playing in Barcelona, the second team there. And then Barcelona itself. He was at Barcelona for 8 years. Then he went to Borussia Dortmund, and we signed him last August on a 4-year contract. He made his debut as, excuse me, as a substitute for Erling Haaland in a home win against Crystal Palace. Made his Champions League debut against Sevilla on the 6th of September. Excuse me, guys. I need a quick drink. Excuse me. So yeah, he did the thing at Borussia Dortmund. He went out to Huesca on loan. He was sold to Anderlecht. Let's got all the details out there. He was sold to Anderlecht, joined them in 2021, actually. And he made 49 appearances and he was sold to City. So, and then the City career. Now, he's been a left back. And if truth be told, a lot of people haven't been happy with his performances at left back. He's young. He's got all the things against him to start with. He's young, new country. Playing on a pet, different system to anything you've seen before. It takes time to adapt. So I've always said, give him time. Give him a little time. People said he's been out of his depth, but he's been playing for Spain in a more advanced role. He's got 3 goals in this tournament. 3 goals in 6 games, I think. I think he was joint top scorer. You can see it. Yeah, he was joint top scorer because you see him pictured with the golden boot after the defeat against England last night. He didn't look happy. How can you look happy? I'd have just said, look, do you want to just, we give you this quietly or whatever, because, you just lost the final. But hey, here's a golden boot. We want you to smile. There's no smile from the kid. Felt sorry for him having to be forced to do that. But it's interesting to see what he's done as playing in an advanced role. It's interesting to see how City might utilise him. I can't see us putting him in an advanced role, unless we're playing with the wing backs, and it's not Pep's style, is it? I just can't see that. But it's just an interesting observation. It's an interesting bit of adaptation and flexibility. So maybe that's, Pep likes flexible players. If you look at all the players we've got, most of them are very flexible. I mean, Edison can play in midfield, I'm sure. But look at apart from Walker, Rico Lewis has played left back, right back. He's played in midfield. John Stones has played right back, centre back, midfield. Ruben Diaz, left centre back and right centre back. Akanji's played right back, left back, centre back. Aki's played left back, centre back. Laporte has played centre back and I think left back as well, but he can do that. Everybody across the back can play 2 positions. Rodri's one place. KDB can play out on the right, but he's generally an attacking midfielder, or he can play it further forward. Gundogan has played as a DM, as an attacking midfielder. As a box-to-box midfielder. Mahrez generally plays on the right. Bernardo's played left back. He's played in midfield, DM. He's played a attacking midfield. He's played a right wing. Grealish has basically played left wing. Foden's played left wing, right wing, attacking midfielder. Haaland, he's staying up top. Julian Alvarez has played on his own up top or as a second attacker with Haaland, and he's played out wide as well. So City do like players who can play many different positions, or at least 2 different positions. Some can play 3 or 4. And so that gives players who've got that versatility a little bit more of a chance. Spencer Mark, I honestly thought Ortega would have left as he's a quad skipper who needs first team football regularly. I think he'll stay 1 more season at least, because the fella's just won the treble. Okay, he played in the final of the FA Cup, if I remember correctly, and the fella's just won the treble. So he's done all right. There'll come a point where he'll turn around and say, yes, I need to play more, and he'll leave. But right now, he's pushing Edison, I think. I think he's a better shot stopper than Edison. He's not as good as with his feet, but he'll get better. And maybe he looks at City as a 2 or 3 year stopgap. Well, 2 or 3 years to make it to that into number 1 spot ahead of Edison. And he thinks, if I don't get the trophies, get the money, and then, then leave after having won so many trophies. Excuse me, guys, got a bit of a cough. Abhishek, how you doing, buddy? Hope you are well. Okay. The last thing on my agenda for tonight was Arsenal. Now, some of the Arsenal fans, they've been losing it. I've said it for many years, Arsenal fans are deluded. They really, really are deluded. There's only 4 people watching right now. Come on, guys, we can do a bit more than that. It's a bit disappointing. The live streams don't do as well as the main videos. But if you are new to the channel, please subscribe. Hit that bell icon so you're notified as soon as new videos come out. Don't normally do that on a live stream in the middle out of nowhere. But anyway, there you go. Arsenal fans, yeah, they are bitter. Spencer Mark. Now, you've heard things where they said they've recruited reasonably well. Okay. And you got some of their fans who have gone crazy. Okay. Absolutely crazy. I'm just going to pull up all their information. Okay. Let's let that. I don't know if that's coppers outside or an ambulance. Okay, let's look at Arsenal, what they've done so far. Look, they've released some players, got some others in. Okay, now, excuse me, this cough's not going to disappear quickly. But anyway, but a few people go. I think the main ones that have gone, Pablo Mari, they did well to get 6 million quid out on him. Granit Xhaka has gone for about just over 20 million quid. Those are the main ones that got them a reasonable amount of money. Okay, and the players that have come in, let's have a look who we got. Oh, this wiki's not told me who's come in after all that. It's got the transfers out, transfers in. It's only got the Kai Havertz one, but this Kai Havertz has come for 65 million. Justin Timber is coming in for about 30 odd million, and obviously 105 million for Rice. So they spent, I remember doing some numbers the other day, around 210 million quid, and I don't think they've stopped spending. So they spent so much money this summer and last summer. Don't forget, Arsenal have been spending money like it's going out of business. Yeah. And their fans have got the cheek, they've got the nerve, they've got the audacity no less, to criticize City and what City have been spending and saying that we're buying the league. Hang on. Have a look at your own back garden, boys. Boys and girls. It's not just boys and girls. Have a look at what you've been spending your money on and then come back and tell me. Yeah, Arsenal tried to buy the league. I'll tell you why. In January, they went out and bought, what's his face? Jorginho in January. Why? Because they're trying to buy the league. Of course, they were trying to buy the league. Of course. Okay. So let's look at some of their transfers. Okay. This is their last summer and January. Okay. Because they've got two or three actually. I'm looking at my notes in January. So anyway, last summer they got Fabio Vieira, 30 million quid. They got Marquinhos and Matt Turner, undisclosed. Jesus, 45 million quid. That's 75. I'll give you a run in total, 75 million quid. Zinchenko, 30 million. That's 105 million pounds. In January, they got Trossard. On Wiki, it says 21 million. Okay? That's from 100. That's 126 million so far. Then they got this Jacob Kiwior, 17.5 million pounds. So we're up to 126. That's 136, 143.5. Then they got Jorginho as well. 155, at least 155, 156 million quid last summer and last winter. So in the last 12 months, they've spent with this other 200 million, 355 million pounds. That is, in anybody's books, eye-watering. I guess the only people who spent more are Chelsea. Now, go back. Let's see, have a quick look at can we have a look at the previous season? See transfers in and out. I think Arteta was there around that time. Transfers in. Look at this. So we've got, I'm going to write this down. Okay, Arsenal. Because it is interesting. So Arsenal, 2023-24, it's 210 million so far. 2022-23, I said 155 million. And 2021-22, let's look at this. Nuno Tavares, 7 million. Lokonga, 15.75. Let's say that's 23 million so far. Ben White, 50 million. That's 73. Okay. Odegaard, 30 million. 103. Aaron Ramsdale, 24, 127. And Tomiyasu, 16, 127. 143 million quid. And a couple of kids that went into the academy. But don't know the numbers on that. So far, in the last 2 and a bit years, they spent, by my reckoning, 400, let's say 500 million pounds. Surely you should be winning the league with that sort of spend. Now, so their fans haven't talked about that. They haven't talked about the 500 million pounds they spent in the last 4 or 5 transfer windows. They haven't talked about that. Talk about what City spend endlessly, but they haven't talked about what they've spent. And you've got some delusion. Look, they had a cracking season overall last season, but the first part of the season and the second half of the season were, well, the last 10 games were drastically different. But if you look at the first half of the season, they got 50 points. Second half of the season, they got 34. 34 points in 19 games. That's going to get you up to 68 points, 70 points. You'll be fighting for, struggling to get top 4. So, and I asked this question, was Arsenal's first half of the season the real Arsenal, or was that just lucky? And was the second half of the season the real Arsenal? That's what we should be looking at. Was the second half the real Arsenal? So we'll wait and see. But they've got a lot of their fans coming out and saying they expect to win the league. They're the best. They'll put City in our place. Hang on a minute. Hang on. We played Arsenal 3 times last season. FA Cup, we beat them 1-0 in Manchester. We beat them down at their place, and then we beat them 4-1. Was it 3-1 at their place and 4-1 at ours? And actually, each game got easier. As the season developed, the games against Arsenal got easier and easier and easier. And they bottled it at the end of the season. So how on earth do they think they're taking our title? And believe you and me, guys, I've not been arrogant or feeling entitled by saying this. It is our title. We won it back to back to back. I don't know what they're crazy about. Spencer Mark, I don't think the right deal has fallen through. I would love it to fall through. But I think they're now we're supposed to have the medical on Friday, so I guess maybe Monday. Not that I want the guy injured, but it'd be really interesting to see if that deal falls through because of an injury or something. that comes up at the medical. Oscar Zulu, City are the envy of the world right now, on and off the pitch. Youth team to senior squad. There isn't another team getting close at the minute. Absolutely. Mark says, I believe West Ham will walk away if they don't get the payments. Absolutely. Pepe, yeah, he's gone on loan, hasn't he? I think I end up selling him £72 million. Abhishek says, that thing, if we spend, we are buying, but when we do, it's aspiration. Yeah, when we spend money, it's buying the league. When Arsenal do, it's ambition. You know, spending £500 million is showing ambition. That guy from Portugal, that was Fabio Vieira. Yeah, that's what I just said, Vieira. Pepe, big transfer, but nowhere to be seen. Absolutely, he was bobbins. He had half a good season at Lille, and they went for him, and they wasted their money. I said it many times. That's why they haven't got City, because of the mistakes they made, because they can't compete. One of the reasons they can't compete is bad business in the transfer window. So why are you blaming City for that? You had money, you spent it. These clubs generally haven't spent it very well, and that's why they're suffering. That's why they complain. The big bunch of windbags and winchbags. That's the lot of them. Right, guys, I think that's my lot. I've given you 2 videos today, and then this live stream. Other videos, go and take a look at them. I mean, they've done very well, actually. I'm just watching one now. Hundreds of people watching that. The one on James Trafford with input from Bernard, who was an ex-goalkeeper, so it's well worth having a listen to that. And the one we did earlier today, talking about how match-going fans are being done over dirty by the clubs and the Premier Leagues and the schedulers. You know, scheduling Newcastle to come to Manchester at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night. It's better than 8 o'clock on a Sunday night, but I just think that's a recipe for potential disaster. Not having got the Newcastle fans, but you're going to get some fans who are going to turn up early in the day on a Saturday, drinking all day. It doesn't happen midweek. You get 8 o'clock midweek games, but most people have gone to work. Okay, they don't have time to spend the day drinking, and I think that's going to be potentially a problem. Last couple of points. Spencer Mark, Arsenal's are frothing at the mouth, still happy on about money, absolutely. Oh, cheers, Spencer Mark. We've done really well, really well over the last few weeks. I looked at the numbers and I thought, blimey, blimey. I will tell you. I'll give you a percentage. We've done. Got almost 30% in followers in the last month, in subscribers. It's been a phenomenal last month, actually. But I credit it not just to me, it's you guys who are watching. Obviously, that makes a huge difference. But it also is the guys who have contributed, people like Colin Savage, Press Rich Blue on Twitter, with his finance input and expertise and knowledge. Bernard with his history. And Mike with history as well and what's going on now. So these guys have contributed. And look, we will start opening it up again at some point soon, where we'll get you the fans, the subscribers to the channel on. And I don't foresee at the moment. I'm not chasing the money. That's not my interest. I don't foresee having memberships and stuff like that. Look, I don't think that's going to change unless the channel gets really big. But the purpose of the channel is not to chase money. If I was doing that, I'd do a lot more controversial subjects, a lot more ranting, a lot more stupid, not even controversial. You see someone like Rory Jennings come out with absolute guff, saying Haaland's not going to be a hit. Having to go other subjects where he's just saying stuff to get people wound up. He doesn't care if people are laughing at him, because if you're laughing at him, you're paying him, or he's getting money off it. So that's why these people do it. Look, everybody's got their own business model. Colin, I've done a load of stuff with Colin. I've done a load of stuff, finance videos with Colin. Colin used to do the Bolt from the Blue podcast with Mike and myself, and Colin met him obviously a few times up in Manchester. I think we met him. I did one with Kieran Maguire. We did some videos a few years ago with Kieran Maguire and Colin. I think we went for lunch somewhere in Northern Quarter in Manchester, and I think We did one. Did we go to Caluccios or something with Mike and Colin once when Mike was visiting from South Korea? So yeah, Colin will be back. The aim will be to get Colin back once or maybe twice before the season starts. But he's a busy man. He's got a busy life, and it's not all about doing YouTube videos. But thanks so much for watching, guys. If you've stuck it out to the end, big up to you guys. And if you can subscribe to the channel, that'd be fantastic. We're over 1,500 subscribers, pushing on for 2,000. You know, a month ago, that was pie in the sky. Honestly, pie in the sky with what's happened. With having, obviously, you know, my family situation, I had to cut down on videos when my mum wasn't well and all that. But now we're back in the zone. 3 videos today. I might not do any tomorrow, but I'll try and get one out, maybe with Bernard in the evening, do a live stream or something. See what's going down. You know, you need legitimate topics to talk about. And I don't want to just be doing videos for the sake of it, knowing that, yeah, I'll get a few quid out of this. But it's utter guff, really. There's no point. You know, you don't benefit from that. People think, you know, if I was to do that, you think I'm a clown, clickbait, money chaser. That's not my scene. You know, I don't need to do that. I've got enough work going on. You know, I've got, as I said, I've got this tour, this theatre tour. I'll tell you as I finish off. You know, we used to talk a lot more about my personal life in the past, and I'm not here just to talk about my personal life, guys. But we got the theatre tour. Let me pick up my dates. How many dates have we got? Let's have a quick look. I've got that festival in Scotland on the 22nd. I've got the theatre on the 16th, 26th and 27th theatre, 29th and the 30th theatre, 6th of August, I'm in a theatre in Scotland, 7th in Cumbria, 9th in Lancashire, 10th in Yorkshire, 12th of August, I'm at a theatre on the Wirral near Chester. On the 19th, I'm at a theatre near Durham, and we're just negotiating, hopefully. I've got a couple more in September, and I forgot about them. Got a couple in September in Northern Ireland. I've got 2 theatres there, and then negotiating with somebody in Scotland to do a theatre in Scotland in October. Then I've got 2 weeks in Germany and France doing work theatres there, and I've got another couple that have asked me. So we're just trying to work everything out. So very, very busy period. But guys, I love doing these videos. I love doing them when you guys get involved. It's fantastic. It's a good bit of fun talking to other City fans, and especially people like Bernard and Colin and Mike. Yeah, Artest is a checkmate manager. End of. Guys, thanks for joining us, and hopefully we'll catch you tomorrow. See you around, please.